Hey guys, Remington here with a quick cold open to say that I had the honor of being on the premiere episodes of Season 2 of the Recollections podcast by Xander Stone. The Recollections podcast is a bi-weekly podcast that explores its guests' humanity and the nostalgia and their memories and really delves deep into just who they are. So if you want a really human look at who I am rather than the weebery and bullshittery that you often see on this podcast, I would strongly recommend that you go check it out. There will be links in the show notes, or you can just Google it. All right, back to the show.
This is Anime Out of Context, a comedy review podcast hosted by a weeb of the highest order, alongside a cynical man who knows nothing about anime. Our show features spoilers, explicit language, and poor fact-checking. Neither of our hosts are experts on any topic, and none of their opinions should be taken as fact. Thank you for listening, and enjoy.
Welcome to Anime Out of Context, the show where I attempt to explain the sometimes weird, sometimes wonderful, but always hilarious world of anime.
And I wish for the matchmaker to bring me a match so I can set fire to the world and watch it burn.
I'm Shaun Rollins.
I'm Remington Chase.
Remington, it's amazing. We've had a miracle happen.
The fact that we've survived last week's episode to record this one?
Exactly. I'm alive, I'm breathing, and all as far as I know, the Hitman won't get here until at least the end of May.
Okay, perfect. Then there's, well, then by the time, they're listening to it, we will be dead, but
for now, I'm breathing happy.
Perfect. That's all that matters. It's the now, Shaun. We can focus on our inevitable deaths in the future, memento mori, how we will be brutally murdered by angry weebs one day. We can focus on those things, or we can focus on right now. And you know what, Shaun? To celebrate the now, I think the best way to do that is to defy our death by weebs. The best way to do that by not interacting or engaging with anything weeby at all. So no anime this week.
Oh, but Remington, if I did that, then I would guarantee my death. I have to protect myself somehow.
Yeah, but my death would at least be quicker and easier.
You really think after all this time your death would be anything but slow and painful?
I mean, at very least, the goal is to have a little bit less anime in it.
No. Don't worry, man. Your death is going to involve a lot of smothering via body pillow and weird paraphernalia.
Well, Shaun, we had talked about there was a streak of you showing me great anime. Unfortunately, in my mind, that streak was broken, though many would heavily disagree with that. So maybe we get back on track with some good stuff. Many have argued in our Discord, tweets, emails that I should be severely punished for last week. However, I disagree. You don't want to give in to the mob, Shaun. Shaun, what I've always appreciated about you, you are a free thinker. You're an independent man. Mm-hmm. You don't give in to the mob's whims and wishes. So even though they wish punishment and torture upon me, confident I know you better than they know you, and I know that you aren't going to give in to their demands.
Oh, you're right, Remington. I'd pride myself in not giving in to the demands of the public. Only when I ask for requests is when I properly give in to them.
And as the voice of the people, I can tell you all the requests you need are coming from me. You don't need to listen to the people because I'm the voice of the people. I speak for the people. You just need to listen to me.
Whatever you say, Mr. Lorax. I'm pretty sure I've made that joke before, but that's a good joke.
Whatever you say, Shaun. So what are we delving into this week, Shaun?
Well, Remington, you're right. I figured I'd take a different tact to this week. Because, yeah, technically, in your opinion, that I did break the streak of good anime. Even though literally seconds after we finished recording that particular episode, I went to the Discord and watched a lot of people talking about how much they liked Your Lie in April, just coincidentally. And I was like, oh, this is going to be rough.
Little did they know what was to come.
Yes. So I figured, what better way to get people back on Remington's side than showing something that he'll have a lot of good things to say about?
Okay. That's what I'm talking about.
I feel like I can definitely save our lives to an extent if I show you something that will undoubtedly get a positive response from the audience,
Okay, so this is the pivot episode.
You could say that.
We need to have a like sharp left turn after the chaos of last week into something more cheerful. Get public opinion back on our side, back in our favor.
Exactly. And I figured the best way to do that was to continue our delving into a genre that has been pretty hit or miss overall, mostly miss, but I figured that this time might be the chance to really spread your wings and fly and find something that you truly enjoy.
Okay. With that description, I'm gonna guess it's either, since it'll probably be different than last week. No, either. I'm gonna guess that it's another isekai.
That is correct, Remington.
Oh man, I'm getting good at this predicting bullshit. All right.
It also doesn't help that like every other anime in the past like 5 years has been an isekai, but that's besides the point.
Yep, and you are correct. It's been hit or miss, especially miss. I can think of one good one. Two? What was the second?
You got Slime.
Yep.
And you got Bookworm.
Oh, of course, Bookworm was good. All right, two good isekai out of all the isekai we've covered. I'm skeptical that there's a third, but I'm open to the possibility.
Oh, don't worry. I think after we're done with this episode, people will have much more favorable opinion towards you.
Okay. All right. So what is the anime we're doing this week, Shaun?
Well, Remington, I figured we'd try and take a bit of a darker twist with our isekais.
Hell yeah.
Because, I mean, lately our isekais have been either over-the-top comedy, happy, bubbly, and weird, or Sword Art Online.
God.
And very few had actual proper depth. So I figured if we go a bit of a darker route, then maybe this will be the show that gets you on that isekai train.
All right. I'm open to hearing what it is, though I always come into isekai with an innate skepticism.
That is a fair thing to have. Thankfully, I am not amongst the isekai trash in the world. I like a lot of isekais, but most of them are, quite frankly, not great. But maybe this one will be different. This one is, first of all, it's got that, light novel, long-ass, edgy title that you would expect from a dark isekai.
All right, let's hear it.
That would be, well, here's the thing. You might recognize a word in it. The title of this anime is simply Isekai Mao to Shokan Shoujo no Dore Majutsu.
That doesn't sound very edgy, Shaun.
Nope, well, it is. Although I'm trying to... My rudimentary knowledge of Japanese, taught to me by a very strict green owl, definitely, I'm getting another one of those, the Japanese title does not exactly directly translate into the English title, which
All
is
right, what's the
interesting.
English title?
The English title is simply How Not to Summon a Demon Lord.
Oh, okay. That's generally good advice. It's something I've been looking to learn. Because I am accidentally summoning demon lords all the time, as you know, Shaun.
Yes, I'm aware.
So I would very much like to know how not to summon.
Well, don't worry, Remington. This will give you the perfect formula on how not to properly summon a demon lord.
Oh, thank God.
Oh, yes. After seeing this, you'll understand that summoning demon lords accidentally will no longer be a possibility.
Perfect.
But honestly, this show is pretty simple and easy for me to explain. It's kind of an easy in, easy out kind of thing. It'll just be interesting to see how you react to it.
Does it start with dead parents?
Actually, no this time.
Whoo! All right. It's breaking ground. It's shattering glass ceilings. It's an innovator.
Yes. And this is the first of our dips into a style of isekai that is a little bit different. I mentioned darker. It's also taking the perspective. It's a video game themed isekai to start with. Because you know how it's like a coin toss whether it's going to be a video game themed or not.
It's either like video game or bullshit magic that may never be explained.
Exactly. And this one is based on a very popular MMORPG that happens to have isekai-itis and it translates to the real life. And one of the players on this game is likes to roleplay as the dark, evil demon lord of the server. You know, those types.
Oh, is what I'm sort of hoping for, and I'm okay if this isn't it, but I hope that it's essentially just very similar to like Chinibyo situation, where you have this intense super major edgelord, but it's actually just like a really casual slice of life isekai. Like I would
nice.
love that.
It does play with those ideas a little bit, because the main character, though he loves to roleplay a dark evil boy, when he gets isekai'd, unfortunately not by death, so not your favorite. He is isekai'd into his video game avatar, so he actually is being summoned as a powerful demon.
All right. right.
Yep. And the story is of him being isekai'd and the evil army he's attempting to raise and bring forth into the world, all while trying not to, make a complete fool of himself and trying to act how he thinks a demon lord acts, even though, being a demon lord isn't exactly something that most people understand how to do.
All right, a very relatable story that we've all been through. Just that good old self-conscious demon lord things. Hashtag self-conscious demon lord thing.
People ask us why we suck at Twitter.
we...
I feel like
bad.
it should be obvious at this point.
Well, I mean, one is the fact that we just don't use it enough. We're really bad.
Mm-hmm.
What we need, if you're interested in just tweeting out pretending to be us, so like with Shaun, you can be like, oh no, my Dakimakura fell from its perfect position in my collection. Like, that would be a great Shaun tweet. With me, just like make fun of weebs, post occasionally about stuff that isn't anime. Like, it's available, is what I'm saying. The position is open.
You want people to fucking satirize us? We're much of a satire as it gets, my man.
I mean, maybe we would actually, be good at Twitter if, it wasn't us. Like, if it was us, but here's the thing, but not. But this isn't talking about my brilliant ideas or your OCD towards your Dakimakura collection. This is about how not to summon a demon lord. Is there anything else I need to know? It seems pretty straightforward. You got a guy who's trying to be the best demon king he can be. Probably gonna struggle with it a little bit.
No, honestly, man, it's a pretty straightforward show. Came out in 2018, met with a fairly positive response. The people who like the isekai trash out there really enjoyed this show.
How did you feel about it, Shaun?
How do I feel about it? I feel like watching this with you is going to be a treat, Remington.
There's something iffy here, but I'm gonna stomach it. I'm gonna ignore it. This seems like it might have potential, so I'm gonna hope that you're not doing a great bamboozle and that it's actually just a decent anime that I'll enjoy.
Yeah, and just to show that I am very serious about the show, Remington, we're going to do a full 5 episodes for this one because I feel like it has a very good stopping point around episode 5, and you'll get the full experience of the show.
Oh, but of course.
Yep, and I'm doing that for all the people who requested it, and we did get quite a few requests for this one, so it'll be interesting to see how people feel about it.
Is this like a popular anime, or is it more niche?
No, it's more niche, I would say, but the
Okay.
people in that niche seem to really enjoy it.
All right,
and then without further ado, Remington, let's get started. Let's go watch some Isekai Mao to Shokan Shoujo no Dore Majutsu, or How Not to Summon a Demon Lord, because those titles make perfect sense when translated. We are back after consuming 5 whole 22+ minute long episodes of Isekai Mao to Shokan Shoujo no Dore Majutsu, or How Not to Summon a Demon Lord. And Remington, how you feeling, bud?
Oh, you son of a bitch.
Hey, I was telling the truth.
Perhaps you weren't telling the whole truth, nothing but the truth, Shaun.
No, I told the truth. I said it was going to be an isekai that was a lot darker than other isekais we ventured into. Although I probably should have specified that the darkness was going to be more directed towards your personal darkness.
Yeah, it's quite dark where I am in the void.
Yeah, I probably could have clarified that better, but wasn't a lie.
Oh God, yeah. It was rough. It was a real rough one.
Oh, well, why don't you explain exactly why it's so rough, Remington? Maybe my explanation just wasn't up to snuff. What makes How Not to Summon a Demon Lord so rough?
All right, so first episode, we get this sort of narration shot of the main character. He's in the room. He's in his bedroom in the dark playing video games. He's giving a monologue all about how normies don't understand it's just a game. Oh fuck, he's a 4chan poster. And then he finds himself transported into the world of the game, which I don't think there's an explanation for. I don't even think they give a shit about trying to explain explain what the fuck happened.
Well, I mean, Remington, the explanation was he got summoned there.
But did he get some, like, is he in the game right now? Like, or is he actually in some magical fantasy world? Or is it some combination of the two? What the fuck happened? And it does not care about these questions.
Oh, Remington, as someone who has seen the whole fucking season, you have to understand that How Not to Summon a Demon Lord has some very, very deep plot and lore.
Oh, yeah.
That, to answer your question, it's most likely a combination of the two. It's a fantasy world that happens to be based around the game. There's not a straight up, like, fantasy world. The plot is pretty straightforward, I feel.
Yeah, like, if you're wondering how in the world, because what happens is he gets summoned into this world by two girls. And if you're wondering, well, how does it work to summon a teenager from their bedroom who's playing a game as their video game avatar into the world of the game? If you're wondering how the fuck does that make, don't worry about it. Just don't think about it. If you think about anything in this show, you'll get frustrated. I know. And very immediately, as soon as we see these two girls, there's one that's nice and green and bubbly, and the other one is dark and brooding. And as soon as I saw those jiggle physics, I knew what was happening. This is a harem anime. Ah, fuck.
Not just a harem anime, Remington. A
God.
shameless isekai ecchi harem anime.
Yeah, unfortunately, we talked about how it was going to be nice and edgy. We didn't talk about how it was going to be nice and ecchi. And oh, dear God, it is. It really is. That being said, at the very beginning, there was, like, one decent joke. There was a decent joke, and I want to give credit unto that joke. And that was just the joke of having a huge, unreadable wall of text immediately. I assume that was a joke.
It was a joke, yes.
Cool. I think it's the only decent joke through the entire thing. So good job. Just
one.
making yeah. So they summon Diablo, which is his name.
Oh, are you sure? Are you sure that's his name?
Fuck. They summon him, and
It is. I'm just fucking with you.
I swear to God, I hate everything about this. So they summon him, and they tried to cast an enslavement spell, but that doesn't work because magic has no effect on him because of a ring he has, other than the initial summoning magic. Apparently, once again, don't think about it. They certainly didn't. It's also here where we learn the names of them, which is just a personal point of agitation. Because there's a bubbly, big-titted elf who likes to eat. I've just summed up the totality of her character. She's named Shira? Shara, I
believe is fair.
Sure, Shara.
Shara
and then,
Greenwood.
Oh, God. And then there's the Pantherian, because they didn't just want to say cat girl.
But
Dark
she's
and brooding.
like a panda girl. Not panda, excuse
What?
me. The panther girl. What am I
Excuse
saying?
me?
No, Pandarians are fucking World of Warcraft. No, my fucking blizzard ties are slipping out. Ah.
Oh, you just fucked my mind up for a moment. I'm already so tilted. With that, you might have tilted me back up straight. Who knows? So her personality, she's dark, she's brooding, and she's flat-chested. These are unironically integral parts of their personality. And her name is Rem. Fuck.
Rem, I didn't know you were a edgy little anime girl.
I don't want to be. The worst part is I know that there will be fan art now, and I don't like that. So this episode, it's...
To be fair, though, Rem, to be fair, it's not the first time you've had someone draw you as a picture of a cat girl.
It's true. Nor even like the second, maybe the third or fourth. But this episode, they go and they're like, cool. So apparently it backfired. Now we are shackled up with you. Oh no. And so they have to go into town, I guess, and get assessed as adventurers. But that's next episode. It doesn't matter. There's this. They get into tavern, and apparently Rem, she's being nice and secretive. So Diablo just like seduces her, and
Can you really call it seduction, man? Can you really?
I don't know, man. I don't like feline eroticism. Is the core of this note?
Is it because of the tail?
First of all, I've mentioned I won't fuck anything with the tail, even if it's humanoid. However, it was just real weird. He starts like petting her ears, and she goes all ahi gow, and I don't like that. That's uncomfortable. It gets weird. Meanwhile,
Are you sure you should be yucking other people's yums like this, Rem?
Yes. And also it should be mentioned along this episode and all the other episodes. So Shara, she's just downstairs like eating food because she likes to eat. Get it? But I swear to God, this is factually true. Half of the screen time, if not more, is filled just with Shara's jiggling tits.
Like massive. Like we talk about anime titties a lot on this show.
The physics on Shara's boobs are some of the single most egregious I have ever seen in my life.
Have you ever envisioned what's it called? A perfect momentum machine. You know, those machines that are designed to just never stop moving in theory.
Yep.
A bit like that. Just imagine two large water balloons filled with jello and they just never stop moving.
It's not great. Then Rem and Diablo share a moment because Diablo is essentially like, yeah, I'll take care of you. And like they play it off like it's supposed to be very sincerely heartfelt, and it isn't. Nothing in this show is. They have a few moments so far where they have moments that they want to be serious, and they all fail. They all fail fucking miserably.
How could it
because this
possibly
show
fail?
Well, I mean, this show, people are coming to the show for one very specific reason. Nobody's showing up here because the depth of character or the intricacy of plot.
It's the world building, right?
Oh, yeah. Similar to SAO or almost every other isekai, when it comes to world building, How Not to Summon a Demon Lord falls in the camp of jargon is world building, which I would like to remind everyone, jargon is not world building. You can't just have a bunch of hyper-specific terms and then be like, yeah, that's our world, see? Ta-da! But that's not how that works.
But if that's not why, then Rem. Oh, sorry. Should I add a miss in front of that for you just to make sure you are more, if you're more accustomed to it after hearing it for 5 episodes?
Oof.
What could possibly be the reason people watch this show?
Well, it took some delving into it. It took some critical thought. However, could it possibly be a good old chestnut we've seen before? A horny power fantasy. Wow. How rare to have a horny power fantasy in an isekai. I have a question, Shaun.
Yes?
Do you think that the author wrote How Not to Summon a Demon Lord with his dick in his hand, or do you think he waited till he was on a break?
Honestly, Rem, I feel like multitasking is kind of like the millennial style, so...
Oh, perfect.
And I don't know much about the author, so I'm not going to throw a specific shade at his direction. For all we know, he could be a genius who is just capitalizing on, like, the money-making trash that this is. But no, my God, it is...
Oh, man, it would be so easy to write a popular harem isekai. Shaun, let's write a popular harem isekai and just make it rich. Just make so much money.
I mean, we're writing enough fan fiction right now. We're practically halfway there.
I know, it's awful. So episode 1 ends with a fight between Diablo and this meaningless character that really doesn't matter. And of course Diablo wins because he's super powerful. One thing I will say, at least like Diablo is just like ridiculously powerful. He's overpowered and they acknowledge it, because there's 2 types of isekai superpower bullshit. There's overpowered, but they pretend there's some sort of challenge or obstacle. That's like the Kirito vein of things. Then there's the overpowered, and they just don't give a shit. They will dominate. Like that's the Rimuru type style. This follows closer to Rimuru, amazingly. That is the only element in which it does.
I mean, you have to give credit where credit's due. I feel like the author knew what they were doing when writing this, because they put fucking isekai in the title, for Christ's sake.
Yeah, no, like this show is trash. It knows it's trash. The second episode, they need to do a level assessment, and they go on their first mission. And so they all share the same room with a single bed, and he wakes up, and they're on either side of him, and he wakes up, and he's just groping both of them. It's the "oh no, I'm accidentally groping women" trope, which is possibly the worst trope that happens on a very consistent basis.
I don't know. I feel like the straight up sexual assault scenes that happened over and over are much worse.
It's true. Sexual harassment is not okay in any form. Like, consent, my dudes. You can't just, if you wake up next to a girl, you can't just start groping her, especially when it shows that neither one of them is okay with it. Like, this show, I want, here, let me provide some insight from the non-weeb world. This show and everything it represents, this is why people disrespect weebs. This is why people look down on weebs, because these shows exist and are popular. And what the fuck?
Oh, this show isn't all that popular, my dude.
Oh, thank God for that, at least.
Yeah, it's got
but
an
shows
ironic
like it
popularity to it, you could say. Like, when it first came out in 2018, people knew it was awful, but it was very much how awful could it get type of thing.
While watching it on Crunchyroll, I almost never do this, but I happened to see him down, and I saw a couple comments, and all of the comments were essentially the same, where it was like, the show is so bad, it's actually good, or like, so bad, but I can't turn away. Oh, it's just like junk food for me. It's not good, but it's just so enjoyable. And it's like, what these comments mean are, I feel guilty about consistently watching this, however, I'm horny, and that's what that means. And it's just, oh God, can we just stop making anything like this? Like, take How Not to Summon a Demon Lord and just make a big hole of everything it has and place that hole into anime, so there's none of these tropes anymore. Just, it's all taken away. Take away everything that is represented or utilized in How Not to Summon a Demon Lord, and the world will be a better place.
Believe it or not, folks are working on that. We've been getting more and more really good, deep series as of late.
Oh, thank God.
Yeah, like there's one that's airing this season that I'm probably going to bring to you pretty soon, because it's making me feel emotions, and it's also punching me in the dick several times, so I kind of need to. Folks will probably guess what it is based on the air date. It's a little too real for my tastes, and that's why I like it. But
oh, fuck yeah.
And we're just getting more and more really, really good stuff. Like, want to know something that's probably going to fucking blow your mind about this anime?
Do you share?
So, the studio that made this anime, smaller studio, it's simply called, if I pronounce this wrong, I'm so sorry, but I'm pretty sure it's Ajiya Do is the studio.
But of course.
And we've seen one other anime that has been by this studio. I want you to guess what anime it is.
Oh, God. All right, I'm gonna guess it's gonna be something fucking weird, so it's either gonna be something like properly meaningful or like dark and intense.
You have any specific guesses? Come on.
Well, with those options ahead of me, I'm gonna say Banana.
No. God, no.
The darkest, most intense, and most meaningful anime of all time.
I want to base a Tabaxi Rogue off of Banana. Do you think I could get away with that?
Oh, 100%. Easy mode.
Oh, it'd be so good. No. Honestly, man, you could guess 1,000 times, and I don't think you'd get it.
Oh God, what is it?
It's another isekai. It's fucking Ascendance of a Bookworm.
What the fuck?
Yeah. Ascendance of a Bookworm is made by the same studio.
I don't like that. I feel uncomfortable. That's like having the sex shop next to the kindergarten. Like, keep these things apart, please. I don't want them associated. Listen, if you run a sex shop, that's fine, but preferably, like, not in the same school as a kindergarten. Like, there's just occasional limits.
But yeah, and of, like, their admittedly fairly short list, yeah, It's shocking, but hey, think of it this way, man. The Demon Summoning came out in 2018 in summer. Gorm came out this fall of 2019, so that means there's progress being made. The studio is making some good decisions.
It also means they're trying to shill out an isekai a year.
Well, to be fair, that's like every studio these days, man.
Fuck.
There's a fucking isekai. Oh, that's what they should do. It's an isekai pandemic. Ever since Sword Art Online came out, man, we've been getting isekai after isekai after isekai to the point where it's so oversaturated it's become its own genre. Like before SAO, there were, isekai stories, but because of SAO and its popularity, we've gotten dime a dozen trash isekais for years now. And
you know what, John? I'm gonna just throw out. Obviously, I don't have expertise or any type of credentials in the field, but I want all of the producers and writers of anime who listen to our show. Oh, and I know there's just numerous. Reki, I know you're a fan, but
Reki's our good pal.
All anime creators, I just want you to listen in close, get nice and snug, put your headphones nice and deep into your cranium, and I want to tell you all, stop. Just stop, please, dear God, not for me, for humanity, for the great, listen, in the world right now, things are rough, things are difficult, and I just think that what we don't need is more of that bullshit. It's rough, it's an oof. So, back to the show, they go on a mission into the forest, and everything, there's an ambush, it doesn't matter, Diablo stops it, cool, that's it. Turns out that Shara, she has she comes from a royal family, and she was going to get married. She didn't want to get married. She ran away. Cool. Because now consent matters, but only in this specific issue, apparently. Then they go back, and there's more accidental, quote unquote, eroticism with the elf girl. She ends up on top of him, and he grabs her boobs, and there's a moment. So her nipples get hard, right? So they are protruding, and apparently Diablo literally doesn't know what nipples are. This is not an exaggeration. He is genuinely confused on what the fuck is going on with
what
that.
What are these strange hard protrusions?
Yeah, he has no
stuck in there.
He has no idea. He doesn't know what nipples are, and that's weird. That's just a weird take, I think.
The thing is it's an attempt to do the goof. It's like, what the hell am I touching? What am I holding? Oops, it's accidentally sexy, but taken to such an extreme that it's laughable.
It's rough. Episode 3, we get introduced. There's a new mission to go and do. It's a nice, straightforward, easy one from the Magic Chancellor or whatever the fuck. And then we quickly get introduced, once they accept this mission, to thrift store Parisian Dick Laser. Parisian Dick Laser from My Hero Academia. Great character. Should be utilized more. We get introduced to him, but bad. And so that's, I mean, he's fine. I'll be honest. Emil, I want to say his name is?
Yeah, Emil. I'm gonna wager Emil, but I'll be honest with you, Rem, I don't give a shit about pronunciation of the characters in this show.
Yeah, it doesn't matter. Emil is probably the best character. I don't know if I would say he's a good character, but he's the most fun character. By most fun, I mean there's an ounce of fun compared to literally anything else. He does.
Yeah, it's a Bichelberger, or as I like to say, Bichelberger.
Excuse me, it's Bichelberger.
It's just too fun to make fun of.
He has this great long introduction that he does every single time. He's the only one that knows what kind of show he's in.
Yeah.
He's the B-list actor signed on to a D-list project who is very aware this project is shit and just hams it up. That's the equivalent of what happens with Emil. What I've also learned, and I will point this out continuously, every single male in this show who has opened their mouth so far is just a different kind of weeb. So Diablo, we have the Chunibyo, edgy, nothing personal kid style weeb, right?
With an extra dose of super virgin is what I would call it.
Yeah, 100%. 100%. Like you have 4chan. And so then with Emil, you have like this white knight always defending honor and chivalry, milady. You have that, right? That like kindly misogynistic style weeb. I'll point out, I think there's one or two others that show up, and it's like the weeby Mount Rushmore is what's happening. Anyway, so we get
Mount
more
Rushmore of disappointments.
we get more egregious boob physics as Shara and Diablo are going on a trip to deliver some wine or some shit. Then it's announced, like, as they're about to deliver, like, oh man, there's a bunch of the Fallen that are coming here and they're gonna kick our ass. And Fallen, they're just baddies. Don't worry about it.
I was just really hoping for that deep lore cut you were about to give me.
They're just evil creatures, and they all look very weird. It's like some 90s cartoon He-Man bullshit where it just looks awry a little bit. It's not great. But the leader of this group of Fallen shows up she's riding a dinosaur, and that's neat. I like that. She is just another, like, oh, look at me, eye candy bullshit. But she's riding a dinosaur, so I like it.
I mean, hey, dinosaurs are A-okay in my book.
Meanwhile, back in the town, Rem has stayed back because she doesn't want to owe the mage bitch or something. It's very loosely defined. It's just an excuse for her to stay back, I guess.
Yep.
And then we get reintroduced to Gallic. Gallic was someone who was beaten the shit out of by Diablo because he was awful. And it was weird that he was showing up yet again. They're making a lot of emphasis on this dude. And Gallic, of course, is yet another kind of weeb. As we see in this, he's been fired from the Mage Guild or whatever the fuck is going on. I don't give a shit. And he's just pleading for the mage bitch to take him back, to accept him again.
Reinstate him, as it were.
Yeah. And this is like the emotionally unstable weeb who can't deal with the consequences of their actions. They'll do something real dumb, and then they'll post a video either to you directly or just online of them in shambles. Also, most likely to end up shooting up a school. So
Okay, hold the fuck on. Just because it's true.
I had to slide that in there to wrestle. Oh, God. Point is, don't be a Gallic. The other ones are cringy. This one is like harmful. I mean, the other ones are like harmful to everyone you interact with, but this one is like properly awful. Don't be a Gallic. And so, then Gallic stabs himself and transforms into a Fallen. Sure, whatever.
It's a shame we don't know how they work.
Yeah. Episode 4 starts out, and it's fighting Gallic, who's now like Gregory? I don't know, man. I don't know.
I believe you're talking about Gregor.
Oh, Gregor. Yeah, so now Gallic is Gregor.
Because,
sure.
When you turn into a monster, that's how your name changes.
It's like getting baptized and getting a Christian name back in the old times.
Oh my God, it is straight up a Christian name if you think about it.
It really is.
What was your name? Gallic? That's not Christian. That's not Catholic. You're a Gregor now.
Turns out the demonic Fallen are just a metaphor for Catholicism.
Oh fuck. You say that. You say that. But with how much Catholic symbolism and Christian symbolism in general there is in a lot of anime,
it could work. It could
not
be
a stretch.
Sincere. So it goes to fight Mage Bitch and Rem. And might I say, Mage Bitch, she's apparently she's as powerful or following exactly one of the lines, possibly even a little bit more powerful than Diablo, who is like this super OP crazy, right?
There's always a bigger fish.
That's what they have said. And yet in this fight, she does literally nothing. Like, I am not exaggerating. She runs and she casts 0 spells or anything against this big beast. So it's chasing
Remington. You see, it's a classic shonen technique. You gotta hide the super powerful ones until they're absolutely needed. Everything is beneath them otherwise.
Just let a bunch of people die, because might I add, a bunch of people die from this thing terrorizing the town. And there's like a funeral scene scene at the end of this episode that's supposed to be melancholy, but once again it fails. And she, Mage Bitch, since she's like in charge of shit, she shows up at the funeral and is all sad. But if you're powerful, why didn't you save them? What the fuck? It doesn't make sense. The reason is because there need to be damsels in distress for Diablo to show up later. So they start fighting. Meanwhile, back at the Fallen and the bitch riding a dinosaur, you got Diablo, the greatest bitch of all, and he's just getting attacked left and right by everything, but nothing is really hurting him, so it doesn't matter. At least this show doesn't pretend that there are any stakes. And so he ends up just killing them all with like a white nova attack that kills them all and also fucks with the infrastructure. They're on a bridge at this time, a really like well-built bridge, long bridge. He just destroys it all, and that's gonna be difficult. Yeah, it's like, man, that's a bit fucked. There's a better way to handle that. Nonetheless, he's able to transport back. He's able to save the girls from it. Once he saves them and kills Gregor, then Shara, she runs back up to Diablo in the most like bimbo run that like nobody does, where it's like chest out, arms out. Like if you imagined how you would run if you were a proper bimbo, then that's how it would be. And just honestly, awkward and weird. And this isn't to say, first of all, if you've been called a bimbo in your life, first of all, you're probably not one. A bimbo is like Shara. Shara is proper bimbo. I don't even think it's very rare for people to reach that level of awful. Like that is the very, very low quality that needs to be met for that label to properly apply.
But Remington, at least the way she's running, emphasize the boobies.
Yeah, which is literally all that fucking matters. Her character is literally her boobs.
Also, it's gotta be said, I may not have massive boobs. I don't even have like canonically good boobs, I would say.
Yeah.
Although all boobs are respectable, just as long as you have consent. I feel like that has to fucking hurt.
Yeah, no, like the back
no
pain she must be dealing with is like, oh god, especially since they have minds of their own. So even when you're standing still, it's as if you're running. And listen, from what I've heard, from the many studies that I've seen, running with big boobs fucking sucks. Yeah, so like even when you're just like existing and they're bouncing everywhere, that would also suck.
I feel like if she were to do some jumping jacks,
oh god,
she would give herself 2 black eyes and puke from the blow to her stomach.
Yeah. So then after Diablo saves the day, there's a funeral scene that I mentioned earlier, and Diablo is like, wow, there's no resurrection in this world, and I was bitterly forced to accept that. Really? Is it that bitter? Is this a sad moment? All of these meaningless characters we didn't even see die. We just heard that, okay, they died at some point. Is that really just real emotional right now? Especially because then this episode ends, as most episodes end, with horny bullshit. So
kind of take some of that dramatic tension away, eh?
Yeah, like anytime this show tries to take itself seriously, it's so bad. It's so bad. Then finally we get to episode 5. There's a meeting with like the lord of the city or some shit. I don't know. Galford. And so Galford, because apparently Shara, she has a bounty on her head to return her back to her family because her family wants her back. And when this is being told, Shara, there's literally a moment where I would describe it as a worried boob smush, where she's like, oh no, and then the camera just points to her boobs smushing into Diablo. But it's like the mood of the scene is concern, worry, anxiety.
And what better way? I'd be worried too if my chest had a mind of its own.
Truly.
She is a summoner. Maybe that's what's going on.
No. So the summoner is Rem. Get it fucking right, you fucking plebe. Jesus Christ. Goddamn amateur. She's probably a ranger. We've seen her with a bow, but we've never seen her do anything.
If that's the case, then we've got a serious problem, because I'm looking at a synopsis right now and it's describing her as a busty elf summoner.
What the fuck?
Yeah. So, like, she was involved in the summoning ritual. That's how she got the no you slave thing slapped on her.
Well, yeah, but
look,
she
I'm just telling you right now.
What the fuck?
Nobody cares about this show.
Yeah, no, like, so they meet up with Galford, who is the fourth kind of weeb. He takes himself like way too seriously. He's the kind who he's the kind of person who, like, if you get any details wrong, he will be the one to correct you, right? Like he's the one who, if you're like insult his favorite show, he won't yell at you, but he will, in a very stoic, angry voice, correct any bullshit you say about it.
Actually, Tifa is best girl.
Yeah,
like
yeah,
that.
like 100%. That is who Galford is.
I will say that's true, but that's an argument for another day.
So, apparently, the Greenwood family is ready to start a war over Shara, right? And at one point, it's like, well, you could just go back. Why don't you? And we've already been told that the reasoning is like, well, yeah, forced marriage is bad. And if she then defended right now, would like, well, I don't want to be forced into marriage. I believe that's wrong, and thus I refuse to go back on principle. Like that, decent argument. That is a fair argument. It's unfortunate that it'll come to war, but you know what? These are the personal liberties that need to be upheld. But that's not her reasoning, Shaun. It's not at all her reasoning. Do you want to know the reason why she doesn't want to go home and is willing to start a war, Shaun?
Oh, is it because she has a very, like, high moral compass and that she cares about her people?
No, Shaun. It's just so that she could find herself. You see, avoiding forced marriage, that's a great motivation. Finding yourself? No, it is not sufficient motivation. Like, if you show up with Adolf Hitler over there, and Hitler is like, oh yes, I just need to exterminate the Jews, it was the only way to find myself. Like, that is not a sufficient justification for these things.
I mean, I tried finding myself in junior high and it just made a big mess.
Oh God. It's just not good. It's not a sufficient justification, and they had a good one. They explained a sufficient one previously, but they might have forgotten it. I don't know. This show doesn't give a shit. I don't know why I do anymore. It's rough. Then we get introduced to the next waifu. She's diligent and shy. She's a Knight Templar. I can't remember her name. Doesn't fucking matter. I don't give a shit. She's just another waifu that's around. Now here's a weird thing. So she's a Knight Templar, and Diablo makes a weird comment. He's like, oh wow, people in the game could only become a Templar Knight if they were very talented and if they followed their lineage. What the fuck does that mean in the context of like an MMO? Oh yes, Grandpa always played World of Warcraft, and now I have an account just after him. Like, what the fuck are you talking about?
You really think that the game, like the writer of the story, gave any thought into game mechanics?
No, I mean, obviously
the guy
not.
has a ring that deflects all magic in a fucking fantasy MMORPG. That would never exist in a real game that cares.
Yeah, no, like this show does not, as with any game-based isekai, it doesn't give a shit about the game elements. The game elements only serve for jargon and occasional Deus Ex Machinas.
I will say, there are some isekai out there that do the video game thing well. We just haven't watched any yet because it's much more fun to watch you suffer like this.
It sucks. So they want to avoid the bounty, but they need to go shopping for supplies to prepare for whatever the fuck they're doing. Shara, because she's a dumbass and because otherwise there would not be a plot for this episode, decides to just like run off by herself, to which then a smoke bomb hits the floor and she's kidnapped immediately. Okay, sure. Then everyone tries to fight like Diablo and stuff. How do people not know his power level by now?
They don't have scouters, Remington.
Well, yeah, but he has like decimated a forest. He's fucked up the city via killing a huge salamander. The salamander did nothing wrong, by the way. That's neither here nor there. Fans of the show know what I'm talking about. Hashtag salamander pride. That won't mean anything for almost any of you. So like it should be established he's wildly powerful, but yet nobody gives a shit. And so you have a couple people try to steal her. They fail miserably. Sure, whatever. Also, weirdly, there were 6 people trying to kidnap her in this moment, and it was like 3 sets of twins, which I guess that makes for easy art assets.
Yeah,
it was just a weird low budget decision. And one final thing that just this isn't specifically this episode, because that's about the end of the episode. But one of the interesting things I think the show could have is that dichotomy between like awkward dude who doesn't interact with anybody to now having to be the super charismatic demon lord, right? And this show, it pretends like it cares about that distinction, because there are many moments where Diablo will be like, oh god, I don't know how to interact with women, oh boy, right? And he's very self-conscious about it, very worried, but we never see any results of that. Like anytime he actually opens his mouth, he's super eloquent, super confident, even just naturally, the way he presents himself, the way he interacts is wildly confident. The only time we ever see this obstacle is when we're told that it exists, and those are not good obstacles. Like, you can't be like, oh man, wow, like, you don't know it, but like, he really struggled to get through that, and like, so that's actually really cool. And it's like, you're telling me this, but I ain't seeing jack shit.
Well, I'm gonna tell you something, Remington. It's not something I usually do, because we'll probably cover it eventually. But what they're doing in this show is almost straight up stealing an idea from a very popular isekai that came out a year or two earlier.
Oh, but of course.
The idea of like an evil character being the main character and having to fight against, like the whole premise of the show is, hey, this guy played super evil dude in game world, and is like based on the way he built his character is forced to act in certain ways, and if he acts too outside them, then he is punished and could possibly die because of it. And there's like actual stakes and motivation and shit like that.
See, that would be interesting, because with Diablo, he's supposed to be like this big badass evil dude, don't give a shit. Once again, we never see that. The Diablo we've heard about has no relevance. We're told it has relevance, but it doesn't have any relevance on the Diablo we see.
No,
overall,
that's because this is a bad anime, Remington.
Yes, this is a very bad anime. I want to establish, if you've listened to this, and you're still on the fence whether or not you should watch it, you know whether or not this is your thing. I think no one should watch it. However, if you're into Sword Art Online and Conception and shit like that, you're gonna fucking love it. Like, you're gonna adore this. This is top tier for ya.
Just be grateful I showed you the censored version.
Oh god. Oh no. Oh no.
And that's the hint that if anybody really cares about it, they will actually search for that. So there you go, guys. You're welcome. I did you a service and made Rem a little sadder.
Oh god. Already, like, the EP, the ending credits bit is one of the single worst end credits I've ever seen, because it's just like, hey, look at all the girls in unnatural positions showing off both their ass and their chests, and also they'll be in lingerie or shirtless. And it was like, oh fucking good god. Like,
just one minor correction. Endings are usually referred to as EDs because EP is usually episode.
Oh god, ED, whatever. Fucking
yeah, no, trust me, I get it.
It's all the goddamn same. So yeah, long story short, terrible show. I'm probably gonna off myself right after this. It was a nice run. And I hate seeing a character with my own name. So that's the summary. That's what I'm gonna leave everyone with.
Oh, Rem, you're not allowed to do that. We signed a contract.
Oh fuck.
Not a slavery contract, no, but a mutual suffering contract. So as long as you're suffering, I can live. As long as I suffer, you can live. So we gotta. It's a very, Deathly Hallows situation we've got going on here.
I can't help but notice there seems to be a definite imbalance with the suffering.
People don't know what you do to me in my personal life. It's some pretty heinous shit.
I mean, you're not wrong.
Right? Oh, but Rem, you see why I had to show this to you, right?
Nope.
Don't?
No, not at all. I've learned nothing other than pain.
Well, that's the thing, is pain. It's been a while, you've had a pretty good streak. But I have to save my own fucking hide from time to time.
I suppose.
Look, man, your suffering is a small price to pay, so that we can keep living.
But of course.
It's not like you haven't done the same to me, you fool.
Yeah, but you've done it to me so much.
Best part of this is not the worst one of these I've seen.
I hate that so much. That's frightening. That's sincerely frightening.
There wasn't even any incest in this one.
I mean, you're correct, but if there was any sibling character, you know for a fact there would be.
Oh, without a doubt. But with that being said, Remington, I guess I have one final question to ask you. Would you by chance be willing to sit down and, I don't know, finish the entirety of How Not to Summon a Demon Lord?
You can go fuck yourself, Shaun.
Maybe later. We'll see. Thank you all so much for tuning in. We really appreciate it. Before we get out of here, we just have a little extra house cleaning we need to do. If you enjoyed our shenanigans, then we have a couple ways for you to support us. We have a Patreon, where you can throw a little cash our way and get yourself all kinds of interesting new bonus content, as well as the chance to have your name read on our love program. And Remington, who are some of the lovely people that are supporting us this week?
I want to send a shout out to all of the Bland Bitch protagonists as well as the Magical Girl tiers. You guys are great. I love you all. But then we go up a tier higher. We get to the yandere waifus who stick a blade right up to us, forcing us to love them. And boy, we do. We have Sarah Birch and Miles to Go, Kazu Morocco, Hayden Lecker, Neko Headpats, McAlex, Juliana, Salty Pretzel, Glenn Michael Dolan, Ross Palmer, Jacob Livingston, Xerix, H. Wood, Nico Nico Nee, Nico Nico Nee, Nico Nico Nee, Farmer Weeb. No, it's always been 3, unfortunately. Alexander Nasiensenyo. I, Remington, love Kirito. Oof. Andrew Rowicki, Grant Firetype, Matthew B, Devin McCutcheon, and Chris Salas. Thank absolutely each and every single one of you. You all are great. We greatly appreciate you. But there's a tier even higher than that. We move on over to Hogwarts, where we get to the Boy Wizard tier. And we have Chase Fredette. Chase Fredette, you are gonna be the great Ron Weasley is who you are. Gonna be.
You couldn't have picked any other character.
I know, fucking gingers, am I right?
Oh, hold on now. Like, ooh. Okay, book Ron is great to an extent, whereas movie Ron is okay, but, you know.
It's true, they did him dirty. And then we'll say that Delina Perez, you're gonna be Dumbledore himself, amazingly. Delina Dumbledore, it rolls off the tongue.
This cast you are listing, I can't wait to see the comics. This is going to be great.
Right? Dumbledore and Ron, their adventures together.
They're roommates, but also get into shenanigans.
Fuck yeah. But, of course, we get to the very highest tier. We move on into the White House with the Chefano Musco tier, where we, of course, have our patron saint himself. We have Saint. Then, on the flip side of things, we have the almighty sinner. Then we have Cassidy Justin, who is, congratulations, Cassidy, you're gonna be Victor Baxter. You're gonna be the black chef himself. You're gonna be Corey's dad.
I don't know if you can actually.
I think I did this before with Cassidy.
Yeah, it sounds very fucking familiar.
So
that's the thing.
Zachary Shirley, you are going to be you're Newt Livingston. Just a carefree dude playing his guitar. Theo Noel celebrating Christmas. You know, when I celebrate Christmas, I think of good old Mina Parum.
You have a fucking
Mina,
list
Theo.
up, don't you?
Oh, damn right I do. With the Silicon Spectre, that's gotta be, you're Jason Stickler. One hell of a character there. He's an interesting character, to say the least. Take your damn money, Dylan. That's, of course, the mob connections. The mob connections are going to be
The president.
Sophie Martinez. The little girl she's the mob. Then we have the touchy diplomat. I mean, you're a diplomat. You're the only experienced one. You're the president. Congratulations.
Congrats, you're the best part of that show.
And then we have Emoto Ahigao, and you are a mistake. You
You can't say that about people. They're giving us money, Remington. You can't
And
just insult them.
I love and appreciate them. However, have you seen their name? It hurts me.
Yeah, but that doesn't mean you have the right.
Oh, God. So to absolutely every single one of you, you are all phenomenal. You're giving us more than we deserve, and it helps us keep going every single week. It keeps me out of the abyss. We're able to afford to feed our editor once or twice a month. It's great.
Yeah, we've been really stocking up on lembas bread. It is surprisingly cheap. But if you'd like to support us and you don't have a little extra cash to throw our way, that is perfectly all right. We
Oh,
understand.
fuck. Did I miss out on Zachary Shirley?
Yeah, you Zachary Shirley.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, no. You gave him the moniker of Newt Livingston, if I think.
Oh, okay, cool. All right, continue. Do your bit now.
Yeah,
Okay.
well, I'll start over there. But if you'd still like to support us and you don't have a little extra cash to send our way, that is perfectly all right. Believe it, we understand. We do have some alternate ways for you to support us. What you could definitely do that's cheap, easy, and free is leave a review on whatever platform you listen on, whether that is Apple Podcasts, Podbean, Stitcher, Spotify, or honestly, if you want to help us grow, word of mouth is an excellent way to do it.
You guys have no idea how much those things help us. It's so significant, and it only takes a moment of your time. Meanwhile, if you would like to contact us directly, whether it's for a comment, question, feedback, or recommendation, then you can either tweet us at AnimeConPod on Twitter, or send an email over onto animeoutofcontext@gmail.com.
Once again, guys, thank you all so much for tuning in, and as always, don't fuck your sister.
Do-do-do, do-do-do.